Welcome to the highlight show for the Ultimate Pool Champions League. We have reached the second stage of the competition and this is our first group. Chris Melling, Neil Raybone, Jordan Shepherd and Tom Ford. One of these four players will make it through to the semi-finals. Let's get straight into our first match then. It is Neil Raybone taking on Chris Melling. Chris won the opening frame in a drawn-out affair and Neil Raybone responded by winning the second, and he has the break at 1-1. Stephen Jameson joins myself, Simon Webb, on commentary.
Yeah, had quite a difficult first year with Ultimate Pool. One reason or another, struggled to make all the tournaments, and when he was in tournaments, it was so strange he couldn't buy a win. It was a little bit of a story a couple of years ago, wasn't it? How much Neil was supposedly struggling despite being a world-class player, and this last couple of years has been much more like it. We've seen several runs deep into tournaments, made finals. He really wants to convert one of those into a trophy.
That was an amazing break to be dry. Keeping each ball out of the pocket. They almost were racing each other and rejecting each other. Oh, a lovely nudge for Chris. Yellow nearest the break line. In fact, both the yellows on the break line are your problems here. Okay, there is enough to get to the potting angle of this one by the 8 ball, and this one should open up the other one with a little subtle cannon. Awkward. That's awkward.
He can't avoid going into that yellow.
Yeah, can he use the yellow to get on the yellow to the top left? Is he on the yellow to the top left now? And can he come back in? If he gets somewhere near straight on the yellow nearest the top right, he'd be able to pull back out for the other one. A lot going on here. Hampered queuing over the red as well. No, we can't get through past the red, so it has to be this one.
Oh, well.
Huge.
That will really irritate him.
I think the frustration as well for Chris is Chris plays at such an elite level. Obviously, he's one of the all-time greats. When he played the cannon on his bad ball, he wasn't moving the cue ball very far, and he's normally very precise on those shots, and he overhit it. And we're talking about very, very fine margins, but he just overhit the shot a fraction, and it caused him a problem.
Neil really has one bad ball. This is it. And he can take it long because he has cue ball in hand. And there we go. Reds are wide open.
15-second shot clock.
You could definitely make an argument that Chris was unlucky to go in off the way he did. Had to pretty much play that exactly like that to go in off. Really wouldn't have been anywhere, even if it had stayed up. Really is one of those groups this week, and to be fair, for all the remaining second stage groups, where genuinely anyone can win, and it is categorically not a surprise. There's no real outsider in this group.
Not at all. It's a really intriguing group, really. There's storylines within it, but it really is amazing. One of the things actually Neil said to me when I was just having a chat, I got on with Neil really, really well, and he turned up. He said it's 3 full-time Q Sports guys out there as well, which, you know, we talk about these guys being professional, but not all are full-time, and the other 3 are apart from Neil.
Lovely visit from Neil Raybone. 2-1 he leads.
And he's bang under it right now. And really under it now.
Oh, I mean, yeah, a little wry smile from Chris there. I don't think you can quite believe that that break is dry. Caught that one really nicely. It doesn't matter what cue you use, whether you've got some fancy new ones with carbon fibre like Chris has, or whether you've got something pulled off the wall at the local club. Sometimes you can hit them as well as you can hit them. It's just not quite in your favour.
I was out there earlier when Chris was having a warm-up, and the one thing he wasn't sure about was how he was going to approach the break. What was he going to do? Had a few options. Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute.
That's a poor one from Neil, and he knows it.
Oh, that could be the match right there. That ball goes in, you feel like he wins the match. Plenty of time here for Chris to make this counter clearance, but imperative he does make this counter clearance.
They played it with the wrong cue. That's the problem when they look identical.
That's made him laugh.
I must admit, I thought it sounded a bit funny off the tip.
Yeah, very, very different tip and ferrule. Well, he's leaving the one below the left centre pocket, which isn't what he would have wanted to do. It shouldn't cause him a problem, but that red just to the right of it could allow it to become an issue, especially with the ball he's going to be using to transition. This is far from simple connections between these three. That's one shot negotiated. He's got to get this one right. Very easy to snooker yourself on the last yellow off this angle. And because of that, he's gone too far. In fact, he's gone so far, he's good.
Yeah, good way of looking at it. Very nice. Brilliantly done from Chris Melling. And we are level pegging. Not long left. A little glance at the clock. 2 apiece. Oh, he did that break beautifully. He'd have been ridiculously unlucky to go in off at that angle. And these are all there. It's time to get to work for the Razor.
Brilliant break. Brilliant break under it.
.40 seconds on the clock.
I asked Neil about this exact situation in his interview earlier. Yet to sort of pull off a finish like this under the sort of buzzer beater conditions, and you know, how is he, you know, ready for it? He is in perfect position for it here.
He looks calm, doesn't he?
10-second beeps will come in before you know it. Oh,
helps that he can pretty much stop the cue ball on every shot. Drop in 8 ball. 4 seconds. Has he kept the cue ball running? Yeah, he has. Match over. Neil Raybone takes the win. The buzzer beater is in.
On to our second match of the night. Jordan Shepherd taking on Snooker's Tom Ford. They shared the opening couple of frames, and Tom has the break in frame 3.
We're in the shootouts, which was an event that was a bit of a forerunner really to Ultimate Pool. Very similar format to this. Very crash bang wallop in terms of a brutal shot clock and quick races. And I mean, Jordan Shepherd was the undisputed king, really.
brilliant break here from Tom.
I love that they're still chatting to each other, even when Tom's at the table.
We may see a fair bit of this tonight, because I know that Tom and Chris are good friends and spent plenty of time. I think they even roomed together on a few pool tournaments here and there. I think there'll be plenty of the fun and games out there. And this will be a very quick response to the break clearance of the previous frame.
Yep, speedy visits the table, 2-1. You know, that's a... You could argue, not that it means an awful lot, but you could argue that that's probably, on paper at least, maybe the weakest group. And you say weakest, and you've got the defending champion in it, another Ultimate Pool champion in it, a top 16 player in Greg Batten who's been deep in tournaments. I think really the one thing that sticks out there is Connor Jones in that group. He's the only one who has almost broken through the glass ceiling a little bit in making this stage, because he's still finding his feet in Ultimate Pool. He was a wildcard for this year. He comes into this year maybe not expecting to win events, but to find his feet, see how he goes, and build towards a career, still a young player. But he's shown he's got the game to win matches, and you just never know.
He's got the belief.
But it stands out, doesn't it, as him being the only name who you sort of think, oh wow, well played to get through, and he did play brilliantly that night.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Came through a three-way 6-red shootout. Rob Warren was the top seed in that group. Ooh, has that just gone awkward? And I think that yellow may just be in front of the red to the right centre. He would love it to go to the bottom left corner now, but it doesn't. He's having a very good look. If it goes to the bottom left corner, then it's perfect, but I don't think it does. I think if it goes, he'd have already played it.
Interesting little bit on Tom is something you might be wondering tonight. Is he using the same snooker cue, the one that he, you know, the extension of his arm that he's played with for so many years and won so many matches with? The answer is no. He's using his old 8-ball pool cue, which has been remarked on by several of the current Ultimate Pool fraternity as, how on earth do you pot a ball with that thing?
Yeah.
It's a very old-fashioned two-piece. But he can still make it work all right.
Well, I think he's decided this red does go all of a sudden, because that was the perfect angle just to nudge it open. But if it did go, why didn't he take it before? This is very, very tight. Look at that.
Yeah, rather you than me, Tom.
He's played for it. He had the opportunity to open it up. That didn't look on. Maybe he missed his cannon. Maybe he was going for a subtle cannon, but yeah, maybe he was just trying to flick it top side of the yellow. I don't know, but he's missed by... Well, I mean, he's taken a ball on that he probably didn't think went.
Oh. Yeah, these two have been talking to each other. I'm sure Tom will say something to him there. Sheppy getting away with one.
Possibly slightly overhit there, but not really a problem. Perfect line he got. So, yeah, just had to make sure of the bot. The slight puff of the cheeks is because he's not come back far enough. He wanted to be, well, he's probably half ball on this, maybe 3/4 ball, and he wanted to be just off straight. And now he's worried he's not going to be able to hold for the yellow to right centre. So he might have to go left centre first, dig up and come back. Oh, he's topping it through, so yellow bottom right next ball. Yeah, a lot more cue ball movement than he really wanted to. That could have been quite simple for him.
Yeah, excuses a good shot though. Oh, wow.
Slightly, having the cue ball slightly loose, as in not as precise as we normally see with Jordan Shepherd, and that's understandable almost with the way he's preparing for tournaments at the moment. But not missing balls like that, that's so unusual for a player like Jordan. It's such a surprising miss.
Yeah, that's a crazy miss, really. And could be a big moment in the night for Jordan. Tom Ford 3-1 up. Oh, crunch. What a break.
He's crunched every break. Okay, the cue ball went in on the first one, unluckily, but all three have been absolutely crunched.
Yeah, this was an absolute howitzer. Cue ball absolutely perfect. Look at that, sitting right in the middle of the table. 8 ball was even on the move as well.
Extension called. Yellow balls in play.
Tom did say, when confronted with the question of how will you find the 15-second shot clock with, I play less than that on a 12-foot table, so I'm not going to worry about that.
Yeah, I remember asking him about it. And he's like, I mean, everybody should be able to play 15 seconds a shot without a bother. I thought, okay, we'll find out when you turn. But to his credit, he has never struggled with it. He is just sees it, commits to it, hits it. I think he deals with the 15 seconds better than any other player.
Yeah. Plays very, very quickly and calmly.
So not ideal to be playing a plant and it's just off straight to play on the ball you're hitting, but yellow shouldn't move away too far, so it should be fine. Yeah,
it's just
only just off straight.
This for the win, and Tom Ford is home and hosed. A 4-1 victory over Jordan Shepherd.
Jordan Shepherd will stay out in the arena to take on Chris Melling. Both players losing their opening match and need to get a win here. And it is the Welshman that has the opening break.
Jordan Shepherd not hanging around, he's straight back to the game. He's got Chris Melling in the opposite chair. Loser of this one is out of the Ultimate Pool Champions League. And that will feel like quite a quick exit. With these two great players, it is often the case that their matches don't tend to last very long. They played each other quite a few times in various different formats. Played each other recently in the Ultimate Pool Masters, Jordan Shepherd getting the win in that one.
Yeah, they played each other a few times with Ultimate Pool. Results fairly split. I think
Sheppy's missed that one as well.
Yeah, that was a very tricky pot. The opening cannon didn't really work. I think the disappointment for Jordan, and we talked about this in the first match, is can the players get enough chances to win and take their opportunities, because it is such a tight group and such a tough format that he had the opportunities to take it a little bit deeper to Tom Ford there. He made a couple of errors, good chance in the opening frame and missed a really bad ball at 2-1 down. And in the end, very comfortable for Tom at 4-1.
Yeah, all you want is the chances, and when you have the chances and they're not taken, it can be tough to take. Oh, wow. Well, I'm a little bit speechless.
May have been taking just a little bit of a liberty with that pocket, you know. Just pushing it a fraction to get the cue ball away from the cushion, because he had a tricky plant to follow. The red does go at the top of the table, and I think the 8 ball might even go both ways. It certainly goes top right once the red's gone. So this is actually a chance for Jordan, and not as tricky as it looks. It's almost one really good positional shot up the table. If the 8 ball doesn't go, yeah, looking at the overhead, the 8 ball doesn't go top left. So in an ideal world, you want to get on the one to the top right next, so that you can use the one at the left centre to get on the 8 ball, but you'd need really good position on it. Needs a bounce or a gap.
How about the gap?
He's got the gap. Would you believe it? Oh, he did not play for that gap. I cannot believe he played that gap. It's tiny. And it was
the needle
perfect.
stuff.
If he's played that gap, then all credit to him. That really was pinpoint.
Well, if he ends up making it through tonight, maybe we'll get the chance to ask him.
A reverse clearance and break clearance put Jordan 3-0 in front. Chris Melling has the break and needs to get something going.
Very similar to the previous break when the cue ball ended up going in the left centre pocket. I think that's partly why he had the grimace on his face, but the reactions, the split's very good. Natural connections between everything here.
Yeah, this is one of those finishes where you don't really foresee anything going wrong. Oh, well, I had to say it, didn't I?
Oh, that's incredible. That really is incredible. To be honest with you, he's overhit that by quite a long way anyway, simply because even if the middle pocket's not there, he gets too close to his next yellow. He was playing on the one on the right-hand side, the one on the cushion, and just wanted to get down towards the centre pocket but not reach it.
And that could be the last shot that Chris Melling plays competitively, at least in this tournament. Because if Jordan Shepherd wins this frame, there is no mathematical way for Chris Melling to progress. And Jordan Shepherd throws one in. They're both giggling out there. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Two of the best players in the world, and they have made some serious mistakes tonight. Chris Melling stays alive, just barely. A little bit of extra frustration in that break. Quite a few balls have been sent down into the pockets, and back he comes. What a weird game so far.
Attention called.
It looks a brilliant split. He's just trying to work out a route to make it nice and clean and easy. What does he play on when he pots the yellow nearest the bottom left? And does he leave something further up the table then to get on the 8-ball?
Overran that quite a bit.
Did he play a cannon onto the 8-ball?
Oh, sarcastic tap of the table. Suggests he may well have done.
I think he may have done, simply because it wasn't easy to get nicely onto the 8-ball. So full ball cannon there. He's on the one to the bottom left. 8-ball's open. It makes the finish much easier. You really don't want to leave the one nearest bottom left as your last ball. It's just not ideal at all.
That's very well done. It's something we spoke to Jordan a lot about. He's been working really hard over recent months on the mental side of the game. Something that Chris even alluded to in his interview from his experience in playing Sheppy a lot. Sometimes the one thing that can let him down, and has in the past, is his temperament. But not tonight. Mistakes aplenty from two great players, but it's Jordan Shepherd who holds on.
On to the always key fourth match of the night, where Tom Ford will take on Neil Raybone. Both players won their opening games, and the winner here will take control of this group.
Because now he's won, he's still in contention to qualify. But having already played Tom Ford, I believe Jordan Shepherd would quite like Neil Raybone to win. Because Jordan then plays Neil,
Red ball's in.
and he's playing for a 6-red shootout.
Dry break from Neil. 8-ball was flying around the table at one point. I thought maybe an 8-ball, but not to be. Good chance for Tom immediately here. All the reds go. Fairly simple connections as well. Maybe one half a shot to play. Follow the next two reds at the bottom. Follow that one and just get on the one in the middle. One at the top's fine. Thought he might have played the gap previously, and then when he's just played, goes the opposite way and get on the red that way. Because if he's got the wrong angle here, that one in the middle might be tricky to get onto. If it's not just being able to pull it straight back to his hand, no, he could. I was worried that he was going into the yellow and then it becomes a problem ball. He's okay.
Yeah, no problems here. Now 1-0 to Tom Ford.
Oh, worst break of the night. Cue ball straight in. He crunched his breaks in the first match. That really got them, like, caught it flush. This one, oh, about as bad as you can go.
Yeah, that's as bad as it gets, really. Not like him, to be honest, because Tom, ever since his sort of return to the small table, has been breaking a dream, really. He's shown it already tonight. Really uncharacteristic mistake.
Really important visit to the table, this one, for Neil, you feel, in these short races. Now his opportunity to respond. And bottom half of the table, the ones around the 8 ball, are really quite tricky. They all look comfortable, but not easy to get nice in there. Okay, looks like he's playing the plant. A little cannon into the 8 ball opens up the one to the left of the 8 ball, but then you've still got the other one at the bottom. Okay, so he's gone that way around, so he could miss the 8 ball to cannon that one out. But that still leaves the one by the 8 ball as the problem. That's what I mean about those three. It was all just a little bit awkward and congested in that area.
That'll do. That's okay.
Yeah, that will do. He might take the one to the bottom of the table now if he's on it. Depends whether he can drop it in, play the gap, and get on the yellow low to then leave the one at the top last ball. Ooh, that's awkward.
I think it's just okay. Might have to play this with a little bit of pace just to
No, he's bending
widen the angle.
He's just bending it. Yeah, just a touch. He's okay. Nearly a disaster for him. Oh my word.
Well, you want to say a disaster. What have we seen tonight?
That's maybe the worst miscue I've ever seen.
Neil with the grimace.
I mean, he's playing this with as much left-hand side as he can get on the ball. Because if he plays it plain, the red nearest the left centre gets in the way to get on the 8 ball, and you've got to make sure you go past it, and then you go too far. But, oh dear. Dear, oh dear.
Oh, that's another pretty crazy moment. There's been a few tonight where I've just been almost aghast.
On these tables, it's a really hard shot to play, actually. If that's the case, could he not have screwed it around 2 cushions, maybe? Got it going down the line towards the 8 ball? Maybe I'm overthinking it. It's just, he tried to get so much side on it to make sure that he got across the red. Well, it's going to cost him.
Well, I said it already, what a weird night.
A reverse clearance made it 3-0. Tom now has the break, looking to wrap things up.
He's already no longer able to qualify mathematically, but I can guarantee you we'll want to get the win over Tom Ford to end his evening. Great break from Tom here in terms of impact. Cue ball was a little bit wayward. He's also not got a ball, so Neil Raybone's night is very much still in his own hands. At least this next frame is.
Extension called.
Needs a quick finish and a break finish to make this match tight.
Still a long way to go in this match in terms of the match clock. There's loads of time for Neil Raybone with which to work.
So goes for the clever plan.
That's very clever.
You have to go for the colour set you're playing, so had to play that as a 3-ball, not a 2-ball. And it's come out okay. Yeah, the red's on the top cushion, but it goes. And now everything else does go. Does the one in the bottom half of the table go bottom right, or does it only go bottom left? Does make a difference. Much easier to get onto it bottom right than bottom left. And it looks like it sneaks in.
Hold that one lovely.
A little bit shorter pace. This is thinner than he wanted it to be.
Yeah, I think you can still get just about enough on it. Oh, just.
Oh, he's very fortunate if that red still goes, and it looks like it does. And that was because of the previous shot. He was just worried about overscrewing the previous shot and leaving himself too straight, and in the end came back nowhere near enough. Oh, he's stretching. Don't miss cue again, Neil.
Oh, good luck.
He's okay, actually. He can make this off the yellow. I think this squeezes in. He's looking for other options, but I think if he gets this as far past the yellow as he can, I think it squeezes in.
Close, but no cigar. And Tom Ford will have a chance to whitewash the razor. Just been a funny old night.
It has. It has in a strange way.
This was his most difficult yellow. Lands on it as soon as he can.
Just feel like a lot of times tonight, and certainly in this match, we've just seen Tom mopping up with just absolutely routine ABC pull.
Yeah.
Not a lot to do.
Well, he won't mind that one bit. Tom Ford is sailing into the final rounds with the night all in his control. A 4-0 win over Neil Raybone. And Tom Ford just needs a result against Chris Melling.
Neil Raybone will stay out there to take on Jordan Shepherd, both needing a win to have any chance of qualification. Their first 4 frames were shared. Neil has the break in the 5th.
Yeah. Oh, cue ball just stays on the table. I was about to say he does most of his practicing from home nowadays. There's a lovely setup there. That cue ball I thought was in all the way, and so did Neil, going by his reaction. His eyes were fixed on it. And now that he's got a chance, it looks like he has to go reds. He would love to have had a yellow on there. The only bad yellow on the table would have been the 8-ball. But there's a bad red on the table as well as the 8-ball. It's not easy finish here. If the 3 in the triangle area, if the left-hand one of those 3 goes bottom left, it helps him.
15-second shot clock in play.
Well, another missed pot. We've seen plenty tonight.
Yeah. We've seen more missed pots tonight, jokes aside, than we have in the last 5-6 weeks combined. You know, we joked earlier that we've seen more tonight than we have in the whole tournament, but it might end up that way at this rate.
Yeah. Oh, there's another. That first shot that Jordan just played was absolutely fantastic to make the combination like that.
Yeah.
And that was all out attack as well. There was no kind of loss of turn thought to it. He had to make the combination. And to miss the next one afterwards, it's amazing.
Sanction call.
Yeah. Just can't legislate for misses like that. Just so unlike these players. You know, once upon a time we used to say these nights would often come down to the player who would make the least mistakes. But this tournament hasn't really been that way. It's because we've seen so few mistakes, it's come down almost to moments, come to timing. A little bit of luck here and there maybe. But tonight it has been. The person who's made the least mistakes has been Tom Ford.
By a considerable margin as well. He's been very good tonight.
Neil's tried to play safe there, and that is not particularly safe.
Yeah, that was a loss of turn and a safety shot at the same time, and didn't really get either sides of that one right.
Sheppy straight into the 8-ball. I think this yellow passes to the bottom right, and if he does, he may take it now.
I'm sure it does, but he doesn't. He wanted to be on the one on the left-hand side, and he isn't. And now wonder whether that doubles, because it's a very difficult ball to get on down the cushion.
Yeah, isn't it just? He's not going to be behind the red, is he? Oh, wow.
Thumbs up again. I think he's on this yellow, actually. Saying it's a very hard yellow down the cushion to get on. I think he's actually on it. It's just, it's very, very tough from here.
So tough, he didn't even want to consider the pot down the rail, takes on the double. Not been Jordan's night tonight.
Yeah, just all of a sudden keep an eye on that match clock as well. Remember, a draw and Tom Ford's through. 2 minutes left. We're going to see a winner in this frame, though.
Surely it's going to be Neil Raybone, but at this point I'm taking nothing for granted.
Yeah, that just flicked the near draw on the way through as well, and I thought, hang on.
3-2.
So he's going for the cut break because he wants the 8-ball in motion.
And it was. It was tracking towards that middle pocket as well.
Got into that one too much. Having to rush, of course.
That'll do. Oh, wow. Well, Jordan Shepherd concedes. Neil Raybone wins it 3 frames to 2.
On to our last match of the night. Tom Ford just needs to avoid defeat to Chris Melling to progress through to the semi-finals. The opening 2 frames were shared, and Tom has the break in the third.
Break started to dry up on him. That first match, he hit the break really well, controlled the cue ball really well, and had huge power. Since then, he's been a little bit wild and loose with the break, not squaring up that front ball at all, and not getting the rewards off it.
Yeah, and if you want a win against Chris Melling, your best strategy is to keep him off the table.
Especially with layouts like this. Beautiful bit of cueing. Shake of the head then when he landed where he did, because he wanted to just be able to screw down through that gap and couldn't, but struck it with topspin beautifully. But then a terrible nudge.
Yeah, he didn't want that nudge.
He was just trying to slide by the yellow and catch the red full in the face, actually. Be on the yellow to the bottom left, and then the pocket's open for the yellow to the bottom right. And he's caused himself a problem. How is he going to solve this problem?
Well, with Chris Melling, generally the answer is pretty creatively. Is it the treble he's looking at? I'm going to give up guessing. I've got no idea.
No, I think he's trying to screw off the bottom cushion, I think. I can't tell what angle he's got. No, he's come back for the treble. Doesn't look on. Does not look on to me.
But how often have we said about Chris Melling that this doesn't look on?
Don't believe the double is.
Yeah, he's looking at the treble.
Or is he looking at a quad? Jeez. Answers on a postcard here.
Well, Chris Melling is capable of the spectacular. He's looking to find something special again.
I think he was looking quad, because the quad's a big pocket. But how often do you pick out a quad?
1, 2, 3. Not quite 4. You were right, that's what he was targeting. Chance for Tom Ford.
I think the hardest thing, if you're Chris Melling, is narrowing down your choices in 15 seconds or 30 seconds, because he has so many going through his mind. But yeah, quad it is. The treble wasn't on, the double certainly wasn't on, so I had to be creative there. But
the quad there is so tough to judge, because obviously it's a small margin, because you've got no room to play with to put off 4 cushions. But you could see there with lining it up, he needed to play it at such the perfect pace that it's drifted enough off the final rail to float in.
It was a big pocket, he just got the wrong side of the red. The disappointing thing for Chris is that the mistake he made there was a slightly loose one, because it's just such a simple sort of cannon onto the red. He just misjudged his angle and his line. We should be very disappointed at. He would have expected to get that without too much bother at all.
That's a lovely shot.
Just writing my notes and writing missed quad. I haven't done that all season long. Left his hardest ball till last. I think he's got the perfect angle just to screw across the table. Or is he thinking double? Maybe if he's straight on the red to the right centre, he can't screw across. Looks like he's got just enough angle to screw across, get below the bottom left, middle left centre. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, nice. Very good.
Respected the pocket there. Could have screwed it back for 8-ball right centre. But drops it in, give it every chance.
And Tom Ford is back in the lead. Chris Melling cut breaking. How very daring. The front ball has just not been working for him, and that is a much more controllable shot as it goes. And he's found some success.
Chris Melling hates the cut break. That's how much he's struggling with the front ball that he's gone to the cut break.
Yellow balls in play.
The reason for the frustration there is because he wanted to be on the one to bottom left and he's not. Not that it's a huge problem for him, but he wanted just to roll through an extra roll previously and take these the other way around.
Seven and a half minutes to play. Yeah, nice. Just kisses that one in off the red.
Oh, Chris.
Well. I'm not sure I've ever seen Chris miss as many balls in one night.
Very surprising miss from Chris Melling, and a chance to really just break the back of this whole night right now for Tom Ford.
Extension call.
And once again, Tom Ford, clean-up crew. Ooh, he's just okay on that red to the middle, just.
Yeah, in his previous match against Neil, he mopped up the counter clearance twice and a couple off the dry breaks as well. Same thing happening here. He mopped up the dry break originally and a couple of counter clearances if he gets out here as well.
Tom Ford's on the hill.
Most of the, well, nearly every chance that's come his way hasn't really been punished for the dry breaks, and now he gets one. He gets the chance to wrap it up.
15-second shot clock.
Oh, it just simply has been a case of Tom Ford making the least errors. You know, you take a look at the lineup of Chris Melling, Jordan Shepherd, Neil Raybone, you do not associate those three players with many errors at all.
Extension call.
All so elite, all so consistent and solid. It's been a strange night in that sense.
So going reds, easier to solve the problems on reds than yellows. And that's come out really nicely for him. Well, that's awkward. He wanted to land on the one to bottom left, and then the one he's playing now would become his last ball. Yeah, that's okay. One to right centre's a great last ball, so that's a lovely shot.
Yeah, very good. Well, Tom Ford has been a man in a hurry. And the Snooker Star is motoring through to the final four. Tom Ford 4, Chris Melling 1, and it's Tom who advances into the last four, finals night of the Ultimate Pool Champions League.
Comfortable progress then for snooker's Tom Ford as he moves on to the semi-finals of the competition. This whole night is available to watch on Ultimate Pool TV, or if you're looking forward to next week, then this is the group we have for you. One of these four men will go through to join Tom Ford in that semi-final. It is Greg Batten, Declan Brennan, Connor Jones and the defending champion Stevie Dempsey in action for second stage Group 2 of the Ultimate Pool Champions League.